Hello everyone. Failure of the first stage of German unification is rightly known as the Frankfurt Parliament. We discussed about the Frankfurt Parliament, that a constitution was prepared by the revolutionaries, presented to the King of Prussia, Frederick William IV, but the king rejected the offer, and we know that he was supported by the Junkers, who were the rich landlords of Prussia, and he was joined by other monarchs. Troops were called in, parliament was disbanded, and it was a failure of the first attempt that was done by the revolutionaries to unite their country, to unite Germany. After the failure of the Frankfurt Parliament, there was change in the attitude of the conservatives. They had to change their thinking, they had to change their attitude. Actually, they were forced to think that although they are able to suppress revolutions between 1830 and 48, and in 1848 just now we read about Frankfurt Parliament. So although they were able to suppress the revolutions everywhere, but this was a realization to them that they are not able to establish their old order. Although able to suppress revolutions, but not able to establish their own order, the conservative order. So in many regimes, particularly in the Central and in the Western European countries, where aristocracy still enjoyed many powers, where still there was feudalism and serfdom, feudalism and serfdom was abolished. In many conservative regimes, some rights were given to the people, and that was really a surprise for the people. And in Habsburg Empire, wherever Habsburg Empire was there, autonomy was given to the Hungarians in Hungary in 1867. It was the biggest surprise for the people of Hungary that they were given autonomy. Correct? And particularly in the central and eastern part of Europe, feudalism and serfdom were abolished, and all the reforms which were introduced before 1815, some of the reforms, they were introduced in Eastern and Central Europe also. So this was the change in the thinking, in the attitude of the conservatives after the revolution of 1848. There was another development after the Frankfurt Parliament we notice in history, that was the beginning of the feminist movement. Because in the previous lecture we discussed that when Frankfurt Parliament was convened in the Church of St. Paul, many women tried to enter in the St. Paul Church, and they wanted to vote for the constitution, and they wanted to participate in the activity, but they were asked to stand in visitors gallery, and they were not allowed to participate in voting because voting rights were not given to the females. Since then on, in Europe, in many parts, feminist movement began. Women began to form their own clubs. Women began to form their own organizations, associations, and at many places women began to publish their newspapers. They began to publish their writings, and they began to demand their political empowerment, their political rights. So these two developments were very peculiar. They were very important after the failure of the Frankfurt Parliament. Our next topic today is, can army be the architect of a nation? Go through NCERT pages 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. In all these pages you will get all these points. Can army be the architect of a nation? Yes, it was proved by Germany as German unification took place. We will take this topic from the Frankfurt Parliament. You will take up that after the failure of the Frankfurt Parliament, and now the Chief Minister of Prussia, Otto von Bismarck, rightly called the architect of modern Germany, he realized that after the failure of the Frankfurt Parliament, now the mantle fell on my shoulders. Mantle fell on Bismarck, Otto von Bismarck. And he very intelligently realized that the main obstacle in the unification of Germany is, first of all, the aristocracy, the Junkers, the rich landlords of Prussia never wanted that Germany should be united, otherwise their privileges will be ended. And the second one, the most important one, was that the neighboring countries never wanted that Germany should become united, that Germany should emerge as a nation state in future, particularly Austria, Denmark, France. Austria, Denmark and France. Your 1 mark question. Name the 3 countries which were against the unification of Germany. And actually these neighboring countries, they thought that because Germany was a vast empire of Europe, and they thought that once Germany is united, it will pose a threat to the peace of Europe. And about France and Germany, we know that there was initial rivalry on the question of Alsace and Lorraine. There was initial rivalry between France and Germany. Correct. So it so happened that Otto von Bismarck decided to take mental on him, and he took help from 2 sources to unite Germany. First source was the bureaucracy, the bureaucrats of Prussia, and the second source was modern army. You can see bureaucracy, intelligentsia, that will guide Bismarck how to unify the country, and modern army to attack on those countries, to have a war with the countries who oppose the unification of their country, unification of Germany. So in one line, the unification of Germany, just see, 3 wars were fought in 7 years. Between 7 years, 3 wars were fought against Austria, Denmark and France. And 1871, finally, after defeating France, Germany was proclaimed as a united country, as a nation state, and Kaiser William I became the new constitutional monarch of Germany. Correct? Now, on 18 January 1871, the ceremony of Kaiser William took place in Versailles. You have the picture of mirrored hall, Versailles, in a mirrored hall. 18 January, it was bitterly cold morning. The people who were invited and who wanted to attend the ceremony of the king, they were assembled in the mirrored hall at Versailles. It was unheated because it was made of mirrors. Kaiser William I was proclaimed as the constitutional monarch of United Germany. The ceremony was attended by almost all the German princes, including Bismarck, and the modernization of Germany began. German unification became a model for the rest of Germany. Modernization began. Dynamic economy, uniform currency, uniform weights and measures, modern army, bureaucracy, modernized banking system. All these developments took place in Germany, and Germany emerged as a very strong empire of Europe. So like this, a very big event in Europe was completed when 39 states of Germany came together. Previously it was a confederation of 39 states. Now Germany stood as a united country, and it became a nation state. They began to adopt all the symbols of the nation states. I hope this topic is clear to you. Unification of Germany. Finally, if you are asked this question, unification of Germany, give it into headings: Frankfurt Parliament, then failure of the Frankfurt Parliament, and finally how Bismarck proved that army can be the architect of a nation. With the help of army, he was able to win over, and he was able to unite Germany. Our next topic today is unification of Italy. And very intelligently students prepare both the unification processes simultaneously, because in Italy we will see that Count Cavour, who was the chief minister of Sardinia Piedmont, followed the same policy of Bismarck, and the policy of Bismarck is rightly called in history the policy of blood and iron. Correct? Now Italy. Although Italy was divided into 7 states, but the problems were acute, more severe problems as compared to Germany. Now it so happened that in Italy, only in one state, that is Sardinia Piedmont, there was rule of the Italian princely house Victor Emmanuel II. Otherwise, Central Italy was under the church. It was ruled over by the Pope and Bishop, the clergy. Central Italy. Northern Italy was under the Austrian Habsburgs, and southern Italy was under the Spanish Bourbon kings, the Bourbon kings of Spain. Even Italian language had not acquired a common form in the country, and blissfully people were unaware about even the name of their country. Correct? And in the eyes of the aristocracy, the elites and the aristocracy, political unification of the country will provide them economic domination, and vice versa. Economic unification or domination will provide them a political unification. So Cavour adopted the same policy of Bismarck. First of all, he liberated Italians, that is the country, first of all, he took help from the French army. As in the case of Bismarck, we talked about the Prussian army. Here, because Count Cavour, the chief minister of Sardinia-Piedmont, spoke French better, he did Italian, and he was neither a revolutionary nor a democrat. So with the help of French army, he was able to liberate the northern Italy, defeating the Austrian Habsburgs. Then Mazzini and Garibaldi joined the fray. With the help of the local peasants, the two Sicilies were liberated, and Spanish Bourbon kings were defeated. And in 1861, Italy emerged as the united country, and with Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed as the new constitutional monarch of Italy in 1861. Correct? Blissfully, people were unaware about the unification, although they helped Mazzini and Garibaldi and Count Cavour in attacking the Spanish Bourbon kings, but they thought it was La Talia, Victor Emmanuel's wife, instead of considering Italia or Italy as their own country. So that is all for today. We did 2 unification processes. Go through all these. Go through NCERT pages up to 18 pages, and prepare your notes. We will meet again with the new lecture for you. Till then, it is a goodbye.